Hey everybody, welcome to another World of Tanks replay, this one by Desuwa playing the AMX-30 prototype and platooned up with Steel Lion and Ultron in a 704 and T-30 respectively. They've ended up with a pretty solid team, but the enemy team aren't too bad either. Surprising to see this many decent players all in one place. I guess they must have been playing on NA East. You wouldn't see this on West. And they are on Sacred Valley. Now, from what I recall, next patch this map is getting its battle tiers reduced, so you won't see it at tier 10 anymore. At least that's what I think is happening. I could be misremembering here. Anyway, Desuwa heads north, as is pretty normal for a lot of goons in their medium tanks. In any tanks, in fact, the south part of the map doesn't really matter. You can go back and defend that from the north. Steel Lion also heads north, as does Ultron. For some reason, some of the heavy tanks are calling everyone else idiots for leaving base. I don't know why. And hold on a second while I see if I can get this replay to behave. Desuwa's in a bit of a rough situation here. This area of the map can be pretty easy to get bottled up in. Now, while he does have overwhelming support from his teammates, he is an AMX-30, and so he just can't afford to take hits, so he needs to time his escape from this area carefully. He can't fight the corner where Steel Lion and Ultron are because he doesn't have the armor for it, and he can't fight this corner either. He needs to take advantage of the enemies being distracted by the E100 and find a way out of here, which he is able to do right as the E100 goes down. He then looks for a way around the giant clusterfuck of enemy tanks in the northwest corner. Manages to spot one of the arty as it fires its gun, but doesn't have a shot. And as he tries to work his way around the south side of the bulk of the enemy team, he comes across this thing. Oh dear god, it's a T-95. His first panic shot goes into a wall. And then he works his way around the back of the 95. Now, this would be just unholy for the T-95 driver if he didn't have any support, but fortunately for Desuwa, there is support, and so he's going to be losing hit points non-stop while dealing with the T-95, who for his part is a giant idiot and is just going to drive away, showing Desuwa his back the whole time. Desuwa tracks the T-95 in the open, pretty much guaranteeing his death, but gets taken down to 28 hit points, only 3 minutes into the game, in an AMX-30. Now this would normally be a death sentence. He runs and hides for a moment, just to try and figure out what's going on, reassess the situation, and then decides to continue fighting the northwest anyway, but doesn't want to push in through that gap to the left. Obviously he'd be just asking to get singled out and cleaned up. What he does is look for positions where he can get quick shots into the enemy tanks and then run away without taking return fire, which is a good way to play the AMX-30 even if you aren't on 28 hit points. He was looking for a position there where he could get a hit on the target too, but it spots him and begins paying attention to him. So he needs to find something else to do now. He looks for a chance to pop it in the turret, but the friendly E100 rolls up, and so he lets it do the damage. Poor Ultron, meanwhile, is getting focused. Desuwa takes advantage of the enemy E5 focusing on the E100. Unfortunately, his first shot bounces, but the second one goes straight through the side of the turret. Unlucky bounce there off the side of the E5, but it's all good. The T-54 lightweight is able to finish it off. Ultron goes down to the IS-7. There was only so long him and Steel Lion could hold that corner against the majority of the enemy team. And Desuwa begins to run towards the south to try and get a different angle on these guys. He can't fight at close range with this few hit points, so he needs to put as much distance between himself and the enemy tanks as possible, and then engage at long range, which he can do because of his powerful and accurate gun and his good view range. Comes in to help these guys out with the M103, but they're able to finish him, and then continues running to the south. Now, why is he running south when there's no enemy tanks there? Simple, he needs range, and south will give him range while also giving him the ability to see a lot of the map from the high ground. At the moment, this could be anybody's game. Desuwa takes a moment to sit in this bush and just see if the GW Tiger is setting up for a shotgun. He does actually spot it, as well as two enemy heavy tanks. He narrowly avoids getting killed by the IS-7 there, and it takes this as his warning to run the fuck away. He's able to escape, and darts up the hillside using these trees as concealment before heading up the mountain road to the temple. The Arty gets relit, but he doesn't have an angle on it. What he does have an angle on is the E100. Unfortunately, it sees him, and so he quickly snaps off a shot and runs away. Now, he should be unspotted by now, so he rolls out from cover to get a shot towards the E100. He loses his sight on it just as he fires, but it looks like that was a hit, possibly even a pen. Desuwa is now in a much stronger position to deal with these guys, particularly if the E100 is shooting heat, reason being that this wall will absorb heat shells. If the E100 is shooting AP, not so, but oh well, it's better than nothing. IS-7 rolls out through the open and gets tracked and damaged by Desuwa. He wasn't lit, and so he rolls out for a second shot and finishes the IS-7 off. It's just the E100 and the Arty now. So Desuwa pulls back into cover for a moment and lets his teammates catch up. And begins pondering some serious questions. Friendly T-54 lightweight makes a run straight down the gorge and pops up the ramp on the other side. He spots the E100, who Desuwa currently does not have a shot at, and he actually gets a shot into it before it comes down the hill to deal with him. Desuwa no longer has a clear sight on the E100, there's a hill in the way, and so he begins to head down towards it to get some shots in at closer range, but due to his low hit points he's going to have to rely on his teammates to bait its gun away from him. The Phaeton heads towards the Artie's last spotted position to deal with it, which he does, while the 215B moves in to try and get shots on the E100. Now, he's badly placed to do it, so Desuwa gets the first shot in, and then the E100 is looking towards the Phaeton, giving Desuwa a chance to put another shell into the side of its turret. Gets a third shot in before the E100 finally starts to move closer, and here Desuwa uses the ancient technique of gravity-assisted gun depression. Pretty good comeback for being left on 28 hit points right at the start of the game. Equal parts good positioning and patience were what kept Desuwa alive through this match, and it again reinforces the point that even a tank on 28 hit points has a functioning gun and is a serious threat to your team. So leaving people alive because, oh, they're just on 50 hit points or they're just on 1 hit point, it's a bad idea, because that 1 hit point tank will eventually come back and kill your whole team and you will lose because of it. Always finish what you start. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and as ever, I'll see you on the next one.